this race, but he screwed up. And since I said on this show a few weeks ago that I don't see him winning a race this year, that's not a good thing that we're giving away races that we can win.
It's true.
That hurts. That hurts. Makes me feel really, really bad about what's going on this season.
Yeah, but he's good. He's been pretty decent the last couple of years at Richmond, so we'll see.
Yeah, he should have won last year at Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
He should. He always seems to be good at Darlington, but at this time last year, this team was very hot, and they were running well everywhere, and they had good cars everywhere. Right now, they don't. So if he runs well at Richmond, it's not. I wouldn't even go so far to say it's because they're finding something, not that they're always good there necessarily. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs like 15th all day.
I just think the thing I will remember the most from the race, other than the winner, is what they did on that last restart. It was so cool. I mean, they were just pretty much attached at the bumpers, and it was just really cool. I mean, not cool for Junior, but it was an amazing finish.
And actually, from what I've read, there's a bunch of action that was going on for fifth and lower that was missed out because of the focus. I remember I listened to an interview with Scott Speed, who finished fifth, and he's talking about how him and somebody else were flying up through there and way behind the leaders and everything like that. And it's like, oh, I didn't even know that had happened.
Yeah, no. Well, and because the only thing you can really see when they cross the line is you can see because of avoiding Edwards, there's a giant pack of cars all scattered trying to get position, and so I'm sure NASCAR had fun determining that. Oh
yeah, and look at if you want to go back to the results again, because of all this, you have Keselowski win his first race, Junior and Newman getting their first top fives of the year, and then
Speed fifth,
and then I think it was Logano and Speed.
Logano got ninth.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But it was his first top 10.
And then Speed getting a top 5 and Logano getting his first top 10. Or maybe it was, didn't he have a top 10 earlier in the year? I thought he did.
Who?
Logano.
No, it was his definitely
or
top
it was
10.
Or it was like a 13th place finish or something like that.
His first top 10.
But
you looking up the results?
Yeah. Marcus Ambrose in 4th.
Yeah, there you go.
Another guy who, it was just the goofiest top 5.
Though I will say this, and we said this about Daytona, and I'm sure you would agree, it's kind of a throw-out.
Yeah, you kind of have to throw it out. You can't take it seriously. But it's good for all these guys, which also at the same time makes me a bit concerned about Junior's running this season, because if he's one of the people present in the goofy top 5, that means he's not having a good year.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody that made that finish in the top 5 that you can legitimately stake claim to having a good season so far. Newman's probably the closest, but even he's not. Yeah,
he's had plenty of bad luck. What was Busch 6th?
Kurt Busch was 6th.
So that's the first real legitimate. Yeah. I mean, he took over the points lead. Lawson, all this is he took over the points lead.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that too. I meant to say something about that. You also have this great points battle that just happened because of Gordon getting caught up in the first big wreck
and him. Do you think that was a little extra incentive for them?
For Boyer?
For the team to fix that car?
Oh, absolutely. You want that record if you're one of the team members. It's like setting a record for being safe or something like that. It's just like it's a great consistency thing. Well, maybe he didn't. I don't know. They say this listing only has him having 8 laps. Maybe he jumped out. Oh, he has 2 more laps than everybody else behind him, so he probably came out and did 2 laps at the end.
Oh, and then did quit.
That's actually brilliant. If you don't think you can make minimum speed, just wait until the very last lap and pull your car out, and you'll finish. You'll be considered finishing because you're on the track.
Oh, was he? Wait. So he was listed as running?
He must have been. Or else it's a DNF if you're not running.
But how does it say that? What does it say?
It doesn't say on this I'm looking at. It does say that he has 8 laps though, as opposed to David Gill and Scott Riggs and.
Well, he could have run those 2 laps right after the wreck.
He could have run them right at the end of the race, and got this running. This one will say. That's what I'm saying I think happened, because I remember reading somewhere that he did do it. Well, I've got to pull it up real quick.
Yeah, no, I just think I think I agree with you in the top. We're talking about a couple things here. Mm-hmm. The top 5, it's like we talked about. Every once in a while, we talked about this on Sunday, and I think it's really important to bring up. Every once in a while, you'll have those races where the racing, lords or whatever, will knock out
the racing gods.
The racing gods will knock out all of the contenders, and it seemed like potentially one of those races.
Yeah, and it was. And
Johnson, Gordon, and I mean, not just
if
them,
you are wondering when that is, if you're watching a race, what happened? This is what will happen. It's one of the top 5 drivers of the season will go out early. He will wreck or something, or blow an engine, whatever, and they'll be talking about how this guy or this guy can have a great points day, make up the ground, and then you will progressively see that guy and then everybody else in the top 5 will drop out for whatever reason. And to me, it became official on the last restart when Tony Stewart had a problem.
Yep.
I was like, oh.
Yep. Oh, is the computer having a problem?
Yeah, it's not letting me pull up that one race I wanted to.
You'll have to pull it up at some point. We'll have to see.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look up the official results on NASCAR.com from this weekend's race, and every time I try to, my computer stops working.
Yeah. You've had good computer luck recently.
Oh yes. Well, I'm also so what is it? 5-point lead on
Jeff Gordon.
On Jeff Gordon and Johnson.
Isn't that the first time since week 3 that Jeff Gordon hasn't led the points?
I believe so, or even maybe week 2 even.
2 or 3, whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been a while.
And then Johnson's in 3rd. I'm getting ready. I don't have numbers. I just have listed. Stewart is 4th. There we go. 64 points to Johnson, 67 to Stewart, and then 109 for Denny Hamlin. So your top 5 are separated by 100 points. And yeah, anybody in the top 5 can leave the next race with a point lead, mathematically speaking. Then after that, it's 175 to Kyle Busch. Oh yeah, and we see David Rudiman still holding on. He's in 11th, so he's still in chase contention. Other than that, no real surprises. Edwards, Boyer, Burton, Biffle are all still in contention.
You know who I would say are 2 of the quietest ones in there?
Burton and Boyer.
Well, I wouldn't consider Boyer quiet anymore. I was going to say Hamlin.
Hamlin is.
Hamlin and Burton. To be quite honest, I forgot Jeff Burton was even in the top 12 in points. Where is he at? Like 9th?
He is in 9th. He just gained 2 spots after that last race.
See, that really...
He's got 1 top 5, but he's got 4 top 10s on the season, and we're 9 races
That's
in.
like the Boyer-esque season you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to Kurt Busch, who's got 3 top 5s and 6 top 10s. He's the point leader in 9
Yeah,
starts.
Jeff Gordon has the most top 5s, doesn't he?
Yes, he's got 5 out of 9, but he's also only got 6 top 10s, so that's probably why he's not leading, because he's got a couple races. He's got Daytona and then Phoenix.
Well, Daytona finished 13th.
Yeah, but that wasn't outside the top 5. Yeah. Just outside the top 10 or the top 12, we got Newman, Case Cannon Jr. with all within about 50 of Matt Kenseth in 12th. And actually, so is Montoya. He's within about 50 as well. And Marcus Ambrose in 19th. Mark Martin also dropped 5. So speaking back to last week when we kept talking about how, Mark Martin, if Mark Martin continues to have bad luck, he won't make the chase. Well, bad luck, and now he's another, 100 points behind.
Yeah, but that's very easy to make up. I mean, what are there, 14 races till the chase? There's a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, he can make it up. I'm just, but that
that's kind
of the point I was trying to make.
If you finish 5th and 5th in 2 races and then finish 43rd, the 43rd is going to impact you more than the 5ths.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it was a very good race. It was a very good race.
I enjoyed it. I still think they need to make changes. Yeah, I still can't get the results up. So we'll check on Boyer later. We'll talk about it next week.
We'll have to bring that up later.
We just spent a half hour, I think, just like we said we would, on this race this week.
I didn't even know that.
It was approximately. But there was some other stuff going on this past week. The big news over the weekend, if you can stand it, was the NFL draft.
I can't take it.
Don't be dramatic.
And they're still talking about it. They're still talking about it.
Well, did you see Mel Kiper already released his mock draft for next year?
I can't.
I'm joking. He didn't really.
Okay, I was gonna say I can't even go there. I'm happy it's over. The Raiders entertained me.
Yeah. I'm gonna say the thing about the Raiders was, and if you don't know what the story is that they used their 7th overall draft pick on receiver Darius Hayward-Bay, who is the fastest receiver of the draft. But they did so while the best receiver in the draft, Michael Crabtree, was still on the board. So it was one of those.
Somebody said that there should be 3 categories when looking at a draft and review. Did you hear this? There should be the good, the best teams, the worst teams of the draft, and then the Raiders.
Well, like you remember what I said was on the coverage they had the live polls from the fans discussing whether or not what they thought about to grade the picks live.
Yeah.
It was A, B, C, D, or F, and I think they should have another category. This is just for the Raiders, the Raiders, which is just a video of a guy laughing hysterically, which is the one I would pick for that pick. So I was laughing hysterically.
I don't know. It's just interesting.
The other subplot that also had me amused was I think the Cleveland Browns were trying to set a record for most times traded down in the first round. They went 5 to 17, 17 to 19, 19 to 20 before they finally made a pick.